Hello, everyone. Hello, hi. Am I live? Can you hear me? Um, my name is David Baroni. I am the director of Europass Teacher Academy. And today I'm here live on our Facebook channel to talk about Erasmus Accreditation. I don't know if you can hear me, and let's see if someone is joining us. I would say that we can use the chat box maybe to ask your questions. So I will go through the new accreditation program. Okay, I see the first comment of Istvan. Hi, hello Istvan. Okay, so while we wait for other participants to join us, I think we could start. Hello. Okay. Now I see. Now I see other comments. Hello, Bulant, our trainer from Turkey. Oh, they come all together. So a lot of comments. Nice. Okay. So I would like to invite you to use the chat box, the comments to introduce yourself and to tell us what's the situation like in the schools in your countries or in your regions. For example, today I'm live here from Florence. In Italy, schools are open, especially with pre-primary and primary schools are having lessons, lessons in classrooms, while secondary schools, some of them, when they have enough space, they are all with face-to-face lessons. Other secondary schools have a blended learning. Some students are in classrooms, others are online. Universities in Italy are doing lessons only online. So if you comment on the box, you comment your situation, where you are from, and if you are teaching in classroom or if you are still teaching online. Okay, so we can have on the chat box, we can have a nice database of information of what's the situation in different countries in Europe. Okay, so as I mentioned, today we are going to talk about Erasmus Plus opportunity, the new Erasmus Plus program. And but first, let me tell you that we are open in our locations with face-to-face courses, but the situation with international travels is still complex. So I wanted to inform you that you can attend your Erasmus courses also online now. If you are, for example, from a country from which you can't travel at the moment, we have designed a new website, a section of the website for online courses, and you can see the link on the screen. On the website for online courses, you can find information of different online courses we offer. Some of them are single modules, are courses that are shorter than the full Erasmus Plus course. But in this period, when it is difficult or impossible to travel, you can also attend the full Erasmus course online. This is a possibility that national agencies are giving participants, are giving schools with Erasmus funds. The idea is that you can attend the online course now, and then you can complete the mobility as soon as it will be possible. So the European Commission has designed this format of, they call it virtual mobility now, and you will have the physical mobility, the travel to your destination when it will be possible, next spring, next summer. So if you had planned in your school to attend an Erasmus course now in the fall, but you cannot travel for travel restrictions, there is the possibility of attending the course online now And then when you will come to your destination here in Florence, in Dublin, in any other destination in Europe, you will complete the cultural activities because you have already completed the online course. Okay, so just to close with our online platform, just to tell you that we have been working hard on this platform during the pandemic, during the shutdown of our activities. And we have a very nice, very user-friendly Moodle platform where you can register for courses. And all the courses you attend, all the live sessions, there are live sessions or there are MOOCs, videos of learning units you can learn. And when you register, you will maintain the access to the platform and you can see the live videos or watch them later on as well. We have just inserted also a new English course for teachers. So there will be a live English course divided into levels, but you will be live with one of our native speaker trainers, and you will meet teachers from all over Europe in your class. So the English lesson will be about improving your general English and also talking about the important topics for teachers. Okay, last point I have to mention is that you can register to our newsletter. If you are not registered, there is the link on the screen. If you register to the newsletter, we send at least one newsletter a week with the articles we publish, new courses we publish, and with the newsletter we always send a discount code, a discount coupon for our community. So our former participants, as well as members of our community through the newsletter, can get a discount code to access our online courses. Okay, that's pretty much as an introduction about our activities and about what we have done. Let me see some comments. I see teachers from Hungary, Croatia, Fabrice from France. Okay, so I see that teaching is taking place in Croatia, just like here in Italy. Okay, let's see if some other comments arrive so we can get a nice picture of what's the situation in the classrooms, in the schools around Europe and outside. I see also people from Mexico. Okay, now let me come to the topic of today, Europa's talk. There are two important news and two applications, important applications whose deadline is at the end of October. The first one I would like to mention you is that there is a new budget for KA2 projects. I don't know if you are familiar with KA2 projects. They are partnership projects between schools in which you create a partnership with schools that face the same challenges and you address the same topic. You try to solve that challenges together. So as a response to the COVID pandemic, the European Commission has decided to set an additional deadline for KA2 projects. Usually the deadline is only in February. This year there is a new deadline, the 29th of October. And the partnership projects for school must focus on digital education or creativity. There are these two priorities. On digital education, of course, the idea of the project is to learn from each other, from different schools, and share experience on how to best teach online or use technology in your daily classrooms. So we are also working on some projects and we are available to be partner in such projects as well, because we have a lot of expertise on digital solutions for schools with Microsoft, with Google Classrooms, or with different technologies. So if you are interested in applying to a KA2 project on digital education, we'll be happy to be your partner. So you can just write me an email. Andrea, maybe you can put my email, my direct email on the screen. Okay. The other partnership projects focus on creativity, and in that case, the Commission stressed the active involvement of art schools, theater school, also vocational schools or adult education center that can be involved and work with primary and secondary schools to design some common solutions. Okay. It's a new opportunity, and it will be, in the end, the last call of the current Erasmus program. Because the current Erasmus program, as we know, this is the last year of Erasmus Plus as we know it, as we knew it. Okay? So, for the ones having KA1 and KA2 ongoing projects, you still have next year or even the following year to finish the project. But this one, in the 29th of November, will be the last deadline of application for KA2. Okay, I see people joining from Poland, from Hungary. Okay, from Sofia, Karina Dimitrova. Hi, Karina. So, okay, let's go into the Erasmus accreditation. The Erasmus accreditation is an important feature of the new Erasmus program. The new program did not come out yet. We don't have it. Okay, so the program, the Italian National Agency mentioned it may come out, it should come out between October and November. So in short, we will have at disposal the new program, and we will see all its features. What we know so far is that it should be quite similar to the program we know, so the former program. And the two main activities for school will still be divided into KA1, which is mobility, and KA2, which is partnership. Okay, so in the framework of the new program, they inserted the possibility for schools, primary and secondary schools, but also vocational schools and adult education centers, to get accredited. So you can get accredited to the new Erasmus Plus program, or the new Erasmus program, as they will probably call it. What is Erasmus accreditation? Well, the Erasmus accreditation is a kind of membership to the Erasmus program. So when a school gets accredited, it will have a facilitated access to the funds. Okay, so the accreditation refers only to KA1 projects, so it's only for mobility. It may refer to mobility of teachers, but you can include also mobility of pupils, mobility of students. And once a school gets accredited, it will have a plan and a stable stream of sources for the entire duration of the program. So I forgot to mention something before starting to talk about Erasmus accreditation, is that I have my source from all the information is from the Italian National Agency. So I attended a seminar on Erasmus accreditation with the Italian National Agency. There is also on School Education Gateway, there is a MOOC, an open course that you can attend, where there are all information about accreditation. Okay, so I hope if you will have questions, I hope I will be able to answer all your questions, but my source of information is the Italian National Agency. The program did not come out yet, so we don't know much. We know what they presented us. Okay, so So the result of getting accredited is that you will have a stable source of funding for 7 years. This will not be the only way of getting KA1 project funded. So you can still do mobility projects as we used to know them. You can still apply every year for a specific project. But if you get accredited, your application will be much easier every year. You will have just to explain how many mobilities you want to do, and you will have facilitated access to the fundings. Why did they decide to introduce this kind of accreditation to school? Well, the main goal is to give stability to schools in planning ahead the next years, and to increase the impact of Erasmus activities in each institution and in our students and teachers. So instead of having a spot project that lasts 1 or 2 years, if a school gets accredited, it can plan ahead of time, and the result of Erasmus Plus will be of greater impact in one school. Okay, so the idea is that of course, the general goal of the program will be, again, to increase mobility of students, to raise citizens, European citizens, and to make to contribute to the creation of European space of education. So to make our school system closer and closer, and to facilitate the exchange between schools. So the idea is that our schools will become more innovative, more international, and more attractive. The staff working in the school will be more competent and highly motivated. And as a result of the 7-year Erasmus program, the result should be increasing the key competences of the students, including the one with less opportunities. I didn't mention before, but for schools and VET organizations, if in your mobility plan you include students, you should foresee ways to include students with fewer opportunities. Okay, we get accredited, we apply this year in October, and you get accredited for the next 7 years. The deadline for application is the 29th of October. And you can apply for every institute, every school can present only one accreditation, but the accreditation is divided into fields, educational fields. So if you are a primary or a secondary school, you can apply for school education accreditation. If you are an adult education center, you can apply for that area, for adult education center. A vocational school will apply for vocational accreditation. If, like in many cases, a school has different departments, covers different fields, that school can apply to more than one accreditation. But it's very important, for example, if a school does both vocational education and primary school, for example, you can get both accreditations. But it's very important that in the application form for the school education, you just write information about that department. And in the application form for vocational education, you insert the information of that department. You can apply as a single school, or you can apply together in a consortium with other schools. It is very important here, if you apply together with other schools, it is very important you apply with schools of your same area. So vocational education institutions can apply together, but only together with other vocational education institutes. Primary and secondary schools can apply together. You can create a consortium with schools only from your own country. And they created this opportunity for schools just to make the work easier for all the paperwork and bureaucratic aspects. So if you work in close collaboration with 2, 3, 4 other schools that face the same challenges, you can present just one accreditation for the team of them. Okay. So this is a nice opportunity to save time and increase the results working together with other schools. There are not so many prerequisites. Every school can apply. You just need to be active for to have been active for at least 2 years. And in the case of public schools, you don't need to demonstrate anything. If it's a private school, you have to demonstrate your financial capability. So you have to upload the financial balances of the last, well, I don't know of how many, but I suppose of the last 2 years. Okay. And the accreditation lasts for the 7 years. Okay, so you will be accredited for 7 years, but in order to complete the accreditation, you complete an application form in which you design an Erasmus plan. And this Erasmus plan lasts 5 years. So in the application now, you apply, you describe what you want to do for the next 5 years. And then during the 5 years, you can update your Erasmus plan, so to make it longer and to reach the 7 years of the program. Okay, so if you go to the web gate of European Union, where you have all the application forms, also for KA2, for partnership, you can see on the screen the link. There you can find the application for your accreditation. Of course, you have to create your profile before, but I assume everyone here is having its school profile. But if you don't have it, you can create a profile of your school, and then you can get access to the accreditation forms. Make sure to select the correct field. So if you are a school education, you choose the accreditation for school education, and so on. Okay, the application form is actually quite easy and straightforward. It's not as complex as a traditional application to get funded. And there is no budget section here, because we don't talk about budgets. It's just accreditation chart. The budget will come later on when we apply to for funds to complete the activities that we decided, that we listed in our accreditation. So in the Erasmus plan, in the application form, you will have to complete 4 sections. The first one is your background. So you have to describe your school, and there are limited number of digits you can insert, and I think it's something very positive, because they force you to be very specific. Okay, so you can really make a list of what are the challenges of your school. So there in the background, you can describe your school, and you can describe what are the main challenges your school is currently facing. Okay, the challenges of your school. Then once you have described the background, the situation of your school, the next section talks about the objectives. What do you want to reach? So it's it's in this section also you need to try to be very specific on the objectives you want to reach. It's very important we remember that the main goal of the key action one of the mobility for the European Union, the two main goals of the program are to improve the mobility, to sustain, increase the mobility of teachers and learners, and to improve our educational institutions. So these are the two main goals. So these are the goals that we can also have in our own institution. Okay, so we just have to declinate them, say what does it mean for me to improve. It could be that we improve because we get more technology, or because we get more knowledge about inclusion practices in schools. So every school has its own needs, but the objectives you insert in the second section of the accreditation are clearly responding to the background, to what we have written on the background section. Okay, then the third section lists the activity. In the activity, of course, you can go to talk about mobilities. Say, okay, you can foresee for the next 5 years how many mobilities you want to do. And you have to list these activities to the objectives you decided, and explain how these activities, namely mobilities, or attending training courses, or completing mobilities with pupils, will help to reach the objectives. Okay, so you can list all the activities of the next 5 years. This doesn't mean that the accreditation lasts 5 years. Now you apply, you complete only for 5 years, but then you will have the opportunity to amend it, to update it, to complete to the 7 years. Okay? And then finally, just like in every application form of the European Union, you will have the section of management, how you will ensure a good management of your project. Okay, so there you need to make a budget plan, and you have to foresee how which team and how you will manage the funds, or if you intend to invest in the program, also own some own resources of the school. You have to describe how you will keep the program. You will make sure that all the activities will be done on time, and that the information is correctly given to all stakeholders involved in the project, and so on. Okay, so there are actually 4 sections to be completed. Is something quite fast. I mean, it's fast to be completed, but it's very important to work on that, to think about it, to work on this accreditation with a team of teachers and the school managers, so you can share ideas and get a clearer picture of what are the challenges in your school and the objectives to reach. Okay, and then you can apply, you can attach to your accreditation form, you can attach some external documents. So you can attach, for example, a chart, organization chart with the key persons working in the school, and so you can link them to your management plan in the Erasmus plan, in the application, and you can attach a strategic plan for the next 5 years. So a quality plan of the school, that lists the objectives of the school. And for example, in the case of vocational education training, which is the accreditation, the application form I've been working so far, we attach a strategic plan of internationalization. Okay, so So these are the documents you can see in the application form. In different sections, they invite you to attach specific documents. Okay, so that's pretty much about the accreditation. I can just mention to you that that in the evaluation of your accreditation, but I have some other information, but I'm not sure if it's valid for the entire Europe, because sometimes national agencies decline things in different ways. But for example, in the seminar I attended here in Italy, they say that every school whose application gets 70 points out of 100, they get accredited. So if your application is good, gets a score over 70 points out of 100, all applications arriving getting more than 70 points will get accepted. And in order to evaluate these 70 points, they will check what is the most important part is the Erasmus plan, the objectives you put in the Erasmus plan. It is very important that you put realistic objectives, but also you must be ambitious. Okay, so you must be ambitious. You have to put realistic objectives that are at reach, that are possible, and that have to do with your real conditions. So if you are a school with 40 teachers, you can't put 40 mobilities per year. Okay, so there must be this proportion, but it's very important to be also ambitious. Okay, so they give 40 points on your objectives. Then they give up to 30 points to the management. So this is very important as well. How to make sure that you reach the objectives, that you complete all the activities in time, and you follow the project in a proper manner. You manage all the project in a proper manner. Then there are 20 points for the activities. Here is clearly stated that, for example, if you involve pupils, you have to explain clearly how you will involve pupils with fewer opportunities as well. So this goes up to 20 points. And relevance is the last section to be evaluated, which give you 10 points. So that's pretty much for the evaluation form. Okay, so let me see if I have some other comments or questions. I don't know if you knew already about this accreditation. It's something very new. The new program didn't come out yet, so we don't know much about it. But what we know is that there will be much more funds in total. It should be over the double of the funds of the previous program. And well, I've heard also that inside of the program there should be a stronger focus on mobility. So this is also important for KA1 projects. I think it is a very nice new, let's say, novelty that KA1 projects can involve students. So you can have projects, you can have mobilities for attending professional development courses for teachers, but you can also have mobilities bringing students abroad to visit a school, a peer school like yours, or to attend language courses. Language is always something very important in all Erasmus program. And I mentioned that the accreditation ends the 29th of October, so there is 1 month to complete it. Okay, I see a couple of questions arriving. I didn't understand the Valentina Corsini question, last point, but I read the question of Spasia. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. Yes. So once you get accredited, you will be accredited for the entire duration of the Erasmus program, which is 7 years. But now in your application, you talk only about your Erasmus plan is only about for the next 5 years, because during the program, you will have to update it and include the last 2 years. So now they don't ask you to make to list the objectives of your Erasmus plan for the next 7 years, because it's too much probably. They say, okay, tell me what are the objectives, what are the steps and the actions you want to do in the next 5 years. But then from 2 to 5 years, so in 2 or 3 years, they will ask you, can you amend your Erasmus plan and insert the last 2 years? So the accreditation will last the 7 years, but now you describe only what you want to do in the next 5 years. I hope I could explain myself. It is also important, according to the Italian National Agency, they said you don't really have to do the mobilities just like you brought them in the accreditation form, the application form for the accreditation. You can now insert some mobilities, but then when you will apply for funds, you can change that. Okay, and you can also amend your Erasmus plan anytime you want. If the situation changes, you can amend your Erasmus plan. So, and then I see the question of Valentina. Yes, the last section of evaluation is relevance. If your project, if your application is relevant, so meets the objectives of the Erasmus program. Here, the mistake, I would say, the most common mistake is that I teach adults and I apply for school education. That would be it's not relevant, and you don't get accredited. Okay, so it is very important that you describe that the students, the profile of your institution and the students you have are the ones that are relevant for the specific sector you are applying. So you have vocational students, you have vocational teachers, and you are a vocational school, you apply for that program, okay? This is particularly tricky, I believe, for consortium. So if you put together different schools, you should make sure that you don't start, for example, you are applying for school education, but you put together schools that do other things as well. So it is very important you don't get confused and start talking about vocational education or start talking about adult education, because then it will go down the relevance of your project for that specific section there. This is a document I have downloaded from the Italian National Agency. I think it's in all national agencies. Here it explains these points, how much they give for relevance, for the Erasmus plan, for the objectives. So if you look at the page of your national agency, you will find this information. Okay, let me see if there are some other questions. Okay, the question of Andrea is that the deadline seems to be a bit too tight, taking into consideration the lack of specific, I've lost it. information in order to be able to write it really well. What do you think? Okay. Yes, it's a bit tight, but I have to tell that if you look at the form, is quite short. It's not very complex, and also the Italian National Agency underlined that you can change it anytime you want. So you don't have to really plan ahead the next 5 years, because then you can just contact them, say, okay, our situation has changed, we have more pupils or less pupils, more staff, and you can amend your Erasmus program. And also, you don't really have to complete the mobilities exactly like them you write down in this application. So, so the application form is quite short. It is not complex to be filled, and you can amend it later on. So this is, let's say, the answer to this point. Let me see if there are some other questions. Okay, I think I answered everything. Let's see if there are other questions. Something I forgot to mention is also that, I probably mentioned already. You don't really have to get accredited in order to do a K1 project, KA1 project. You can apply the traditional way. The traditional way of getting funded with K1 projects remains in place. This is just an additional opportunity. And also, if you don't get accredited this year, you can apply next year. Accreditation will be possible every year. Okay, so if you don't get accredited this year, you can apply next year and maybe you get accredited next year. What I suggest, honestly, is to apply now. And even if you don't have time to talk with all the staff to design a fantastic plan, you can apply. If you get accredited, then you can amend it. You just contact your national agency and say you want to amend it. You want to amend the application. Or if you don't get, well, if you try and you don't get accredited because you didn't reach the 70 points, then you can still ask for a feedback from your national agency. This is something possible for each project. I don't know if you are aware of that, but whenever you apply for a project, you can ask for a detailed answer to your national agency, where they clearly state how they evaluated each section and why they evaluated like that. So eventually, if you don't reach the 70 points to get accredited, you can ask for that feedback and see where you have to increase the application. I said that 70 points are enough to get accredited, but this is something that I've heard in the Italian National Agency, so I'm not sure if it's valid for every country. It should be, but you better ask your own national agency because they may have different rules. But I hope I don't think 70 points is hard to get. We are applying as well. We don't apply as a school, we apply as a vocational education organization. And we apply also as adult education center here in Italy, because in Italy we have an Italian language school for foreigners. So the Department of Italian Language will apply as adult education organization, and the Department of Teacher Training, Professional Development will apply as vocational education. And well, if we get approved, we will have our plan of sending our own staff to get trained elsewhere in Europe. Okay. I see that in Hungary is also 70 points, so maybe it's the same. The same in different countries. How about documents to be attached? Well, you can attach a school development plan, right? Let me ask my colleague Marco, right, Marco, the question about what documents we attach to the application form of accreditation. Okay, so it's checking for schools because we just completed only the vet. On the one for vet, we completed a strategic, where is it, the camera? Strategic plan of internationalization of the school, saying how these mobilities will help us to become more international. We help our students well, this is evident to gain international experience, but is going to impact our own school. What will be the benefit for our school, for our staff, and to make our school more, let's say, efficient in teaching, more attractive, and a better workplace in general. So we designed this strategic plan of internationalization. I don't even know if it's a word in English, but I hope you understand me. And then we since in the management part of the application, you have to state who does what. How do you ensure that the program gets well managed? So we describe who does what, and then we attach a chart like this, saying, okay, this is the unit doing this and this, these are the persons in charge. This is the unit in charge of fundings. This is the unit in charge of, I don't know, assistance to pupils and selecting the pupils and so on. And also we attach a Gantt chart. I don't think it's really necessary, but if you want to attach it, we attached also this one. It covers only the next 5 years, but we put different activities. We put the different activities here, and then we write at which month they start and end. Okay, so. For schools, read because I can't.
Read a document to explain the internationalization
of the school as well, the same. And the last one, the strategy. Yeah. Yes, okay. So my colleague Marco is explaining me that it's the same with school education. You have to attach a document explaining the strategy to make your school more international. So of course, the program, through this program, you can find partners, you can collaborate and exchange best practice with partners, you can exchange even students, maybe. And so this must be part of a long-term strategy for your school to become more and more international. Okay. So I think this answer your question as well as good as the best I can, for at least. It's a bit particular to complete an accreditation for a program, and we still don't have the documents for the program, but they should come out soon, so we will understand. And also, they said already that the main objectives will remain the same, so we could also consider that they are the same of the previous program. Okay, I don't know if there are any other questions. The document will be attached. I think I answered. I remind you that it's still the 29th of October, the deadline for accreditation, but is the deadline also for applying on KA2 project partnership. partnership with schools, partnership with training centers on digital education, okay? To improve the digital and technological of your school, the technology used in your classrooms, in your teaching activities, and also for the KA2 on creativity. And last point for my side is I remind you because of I remind you that we are open for our training courses. We have several courses here in Florence, also in Barcelona and in Berlin. We also have a confirmed course in Tenerife in November. We have some courses in Ireland. Ireland is the country that still has the stricter rules. So it's harder to get there. You have to check if it's possible from your country, and they change every week, every 10 days they change. So I remind you that we are open. This is what I wanted to tell you. If you have your mobility in your current project, you can check if it's possible. You can contact us. If you don't consider, or if you see that it's impossible from your country to travel to your destination now in the fall, I remind you that you can attend your Erasmus course online. It doesn't mean you do only online. It means you do it online now, and then you will complete the mobility when it will be possible next year. Okay, so you can check the information on our new website for online courses. There we have the information of online Erasmus courses that you can attend now. You do the course online, and then you do the cultural experience when the mobility will be possible. Okay. And on the same website, we also have shorter courses, modules on specific topics. We publish one new course every week. We publish MOOCs that are courses open. You can join them and learn at your own time. There are videos, readings, tests. You complete the course at your own time. You don't need to be live with the teacher. Okay? So we publish one new of these courses every week. You complete it, you get your certificate. And if you register to our newsletter, you can get access discount code for attending the MOOCs. So you get half of the price on them. This is a promotion we give to our community, to the teachers, former participants to our courses, and all the teachers, members of our community. Okay, that's, I think, all from my side. I think I didn't forget anything. Let me see the papers I have. I think I've gone through everything. And if you don't have any other question, well, if you have other questions also about the project, you can write me an email. You can write an email to Ambra, Tanya, my colleagues in office, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions. Okay, thank you for following today, and have a safe time. Bye-bye.